Welcome to another installment of the Core podcast series. My name is Adrian Terry. I'm joined once again by Jerry Powers. Welcome, Jerry.
Thanks, Adrian.
We want to address some of the issues that have been floating around social media of late, and also some opinion pieces that have been written in the local newspaper about who Core is, what we stand for, and the information that we've brought to light so far about the affairs in local government.
So none of us that I know of have ever run for office, and we're not used to politics. We have a background in various things. I'm a general contractor. We have engineers, everything you can think of. But none of us have really experienced what we're experiencing in this political arena. And they say politics is dirty. There have been some things said about us that I wouldn't repeat about my worst enemy. But I think it's a desperation because they don't really back it up with any facts. All they say is Core is lying about this or Core is doing that. So I want to say that our website, Core, www.corenm.com, has all of the facts. We put things on there, and then we have thousands of pages of evidence and documentation. We've talked to witnesses that will eventually come forward when it's time to testify about the corruption that has gone on in this town administration, which is why we started making people aware. This is not something that you can just say, well, that goes on everywhere. You know, this stuff is huge for a small town. We're talking millions and millions of dollars.
And I think another thing that's important to note is that as we've been disseminating information about town business, we've always been willing to share it with the public.
Right.
We are not like the town in the sense of we make assertions that are not backed up by evidence.
Right.
Certainly with this town government, we don't have all of the evidence about all of the dealings that the town is doing because they refuse to share and disclose that information, force us to file public records requests, and pay to get access to what should be publicly available documents.
And if you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, you know, they're not going to just hand that information over. It's taken us 1.5 to 2 years to accumulate some of this information because we had to use the legal system. They wouldn't just hand it over and give it to us. We had to go to other outside agencies that they were dealing with to get the truth about what Edgewood has been up to, the town government. So I just want to say, you know, that the people I've worked with in Core, and we're hundreds of people, the local residents, we're not a tightly knit kind of company or anything like that. They try to portray us that way. We're a bunch of citizens that are trying to work for openness in our own town government so that Edgewood will continue to be the kind of place we want to live. We don't need these giant sewer projects, take over the water system and indebt our town for $30 million. I mean, there's only a few thousand houses in Edgewood. We're not a big city. I don't think we want to be. If we did, we'd all be living in Albuquerque. We moved out here for a reason. We want to protect what we value about Edgewood.
Well, I know that you and I get some attention because we're the mouthpiece for Core and we make these videos, but we're probably the dummies of the group. But we do have some smart folks who are associated with us, and they have been willing and able to lend their expertise to these issues to help us understand some of the information, because not all of it is self-evident about what it is the town's doing, how they're doing it, where the money is going, and we've had to run some of this stuff down.
And I've said from the beginning that this is going to take all of us if we can even do it. It's a Herculean task to fight City Hall. That old saying is there for a reason. We're doing a good job of it. I think the citizens are doing a good job. 1,568 ballots as of today in Santa Fe. It was a historic turnout for Edgewood, which only usually votes about 600. So people are doing their part, and we feel like it's our part to inform the public because we have the ability to do it. So I appreciate what everybody's doing. These are the last few days. It's Monday now. It will be the votes will be counted. If you have a ballot, I wouldn't recommend that you drop it in the mail, but I would highly recommend that you vote it to have your voice heard. The town government is putting on a last push to oppose people getting a voice with this new form of government. So it's very important to get your ballot in. If you haven't, please send it overnight delivery if you can from the post office, FedEx, UPS, and to make sure it gets there and is counted by Monday. You can also drive it to the county courthouse. They've got a new location there at 100 Grant Street in Santa Fe.
Catron Street.
Oh, I'm sorry. Grant is the old one. Thanks, Adrian. So 100 Catron Street, and you can drive it up there on Monday up until 7 o'clock p.m. and it'll still be counted. Or you can send it overnight delivery and be sure that it will be there by Monday.
And don't be deceived by anybody who would try to jump into the scene in the last moment and make grand statements about what is and what isn't. We, as we've discussed, have been working on bringing transparency to local government for about 2 years. We have a body of work. Our information has proved true and reliable. We've shared it with the public. We've presented information at public forums. We've shown documents, maps, contracts, and other information to show that what we are saying is true. If it's not true, the town can come out with honest information, full disclosure, and rebut it if they want to, but they've chosen not to do that to this point.
They've chosen to make personal attacks on people involved in CORE, which are just citizens. They've used the power of government to try to refuse to have this election. We had to be taken to court and have a judge tell them that they have to hold this election. This is the election that you all wanted. When we had our legacy meetings, they said, what can we do to open up this government and change things? So we took on that task, circulated the petition, and the town has absolutely come out against it. And you have to ask, why would the town oppose us having a greater voice in town government? This is where we live. This is the American system. The will of the governed is supposed to govern the town.
And another comment that you have raised before, Jerry, is the fact that if we had true and honest public officials who were willing to represent the interests of the people, it shouldn't matter to them what form of local government the town of Edgewood has.
Right. And there's an agenda going on that we've revealed. They want to continue with that agenda. The people don't like it. They've voiced their concerns. Now they're using their voice. We're using our voice through our vote to say we don't like the status quo of what's going on here, and we want a greater voice in that. So please use your ballot, use your voice, appreciate what you're doing.
Absolutely. And consider this. This special election is an opportunity to cast your vote against tyranny, against the powerful, against a single individual charting the course for this town, setting the agenda for public meetings, and determining the future and destiny of this community.
In spite of great public outcry, there have been groups of people coming in saying, we don't want this sewer. I mean, just pack the house. There were people that packed the house on the EPCOR forum. 2 years ago, they knew that the town didn't want EPCOR. It was a huge outcry. It was even in the newspapers. So in spite of public input, they're determined to continue down this path, and there needs to be a change.
And don't get it confused. Our answer on every issue is not no. It's better, please. You know, we want roads. We want trails.
Right.
We want recreational facilities and outlets for our elderly, for our children, for those who have horses and participate in equestrian activities. This is a rural community, and we'd like to see it maintain that character.
Here's a small example. One of the guys that we came across in CORE said he's got 2 horses. His water bill on EPCOR now is about $150 a month. And mine's about 40 because I don't have horses. So you can see it costs him something. But he said, if my bills double and triple, I'll have to sell my horses. Well, that's one of the privileges of living out here is we can have horses. We can have that kind of rural lifestyle. So the decisions that are going to be made in the next year are going to either change the character and eliminate a lot of what we consider to be valuable about living here, or it's going to be in line with what people want and preserve that quality of life.
And I think time has proven true that in the absence of professional management, because the town in times past had a town manager or a town administrator, things have really gone off the rails.
Yeah.
And you know, in that image that we've shown with the train going off the tracks,
Yeah.
is really representative of what has happened to Town Hall during the current administration of this mayor.
And this special election is an effort to get that train back on track, to get Edgewood back on track so that it will remain the nice place we want to live and not somebody else's idea of a development facility to develop the town into something else.
Now, something else I would tell you is my dad is from New Jersey. And you know, East Coast people are funny. He is skeptical of everything, and he's a gypsy negotiator. So I would tell you, don't trust me, don't trust Jerry. Look at the documents. We'll make them available for you. You can get them on the Eye on Edgewood Facebook page or the Eye on Edgewood website, where all that information is available, and we will continue to update those files so that you have ready access to all of the information that we have been uncovering about the misdeeds and mismanagement of the town of Edgewood's local government.
So just kind of in closing, let's keep our eyes on the prize. This is an effort to restore open and transparent government to Edgewood. And what would that do for the town? It would make sure that the town doesn't go off on these crazy tangents that one person who happened to get elected as mayor wants for the town in spite of what the people want. The town should be a reflection of what the people want. That's why we're doing this special election. So please vote. Please send your ballot in as soon as you can, overnight if possible, to make sure it's counted on Monday.
Bringing you the local information that you need to know. This is Citizens for an Open and Responsible Edgewood. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.